And business news continues. The European Commission is set to unveil an action plan to get the auto industry back on track amid sluggish growth in electric vehicles and increased competition from China. The European Union aims to phase out the sale of combustion engines by 2035. But car makers fear high manufacturing costs, strict regulation, and geopolitical headwinds are making it hard to keep up with the competition. William Denselow with this report.
The latest casualty in a spluttering sector. This Audi plant in the Belgian capital has permanently shut its doors. The car maker largely blames a lack of demand for its high-end electric SUVs. 2024 was a record year for electric vehicle sales globally, but in Europe, the market contracted by 3%. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says the auto industry is facing a pivotal moment as it changes gears from combustion engines to EVs. Her action plan will present a clear strategy to drive growth and boost innovation while cutting back on red tape.
We cannot let EVs become more expensive, but we also cannot afford to create new dependencies. So we will explore direct support for EU battery producers, and we will gradually introduce European content requirements for battery cells and the components.
Following strategic meetings with industry leaders, the European Commission has softened emission regulations. Car makers had until the end of the year to cut vehicle CO2 emissions by 15% compared to 2021 levels or face fines. While not calling for a complete U-turn, the Commission is proposing giving manufacturers 3 years to get up to speed. Fully electric vehicle sales in Europe ticked up roughly 35% in January, amounting to a 15% market share. Supporters of the existing regulations say January's data is proof that the threat of stricter regulations is having the desired effect. Some say the EU's changes rewards laggards and creates uncertainty over the bloc's commitment to the green transition.
What we are seeing is that as the targets hit, the auto industry is finally bringing those affordable electric car models. They have all been timed for either the end of last year or the beginning of this year, of 2025, and it's beginning to work. This organic demand, as people see the model for them on the market, rather than an overpriced, huge premium SUV.
But some in the industry say carrots rather than sticks are what is needed.
We have very ambitious targets in Europe to decarbonize, but what we see is that the enabling conditions, so charging infrastructure and also demand stimulus measures, are not in place to get the market where the market needs to be.
Global trade tensions continue to complicate the sector's roadmap to growth. EU member states remain divided over the bloc's decision last year to impose additional tariffs of up to 35% on Chinese-made EVs. Beijing denies claims that it's flooded the market with heavily subsidized vehicles, and some European powers fear duties could harm producers that rely on the Chinese market. The US has also threatened to impose 25% tariffs on EU goods, with President Trump singling out the auto sector as a point of contention.
Our call on the European Commission is to try really have open lines, to negotiate, to go for a grand bargain rather than a tit for tat, and try de-escalate before there's even a question of escalation.
European officials warn that tariffs represent a lose-lose for businesses and consumers alike, but add they'll respond if needed to protect their industries. Amid broader trade tensions, the EU hopes this action plan can help put European automakers back in the driving seat in the race for dominance in a fast-changing sector. William Denselow, CNA, Brussels.